Inland Sports.
The brackets are out. We got some really juicy first-round games coming up, including Summit taking on Redlands East Valley. Joining us here on the show, he is the skipper of the Skyhawks, Sammy Lopez. And Coach Lopez, first off, congrats on a great regular season. But at this time of the year, I mean, you know, you can't really enjoy a great regular season, I suppose, right? Because you've got some important games in front of you. Is that safe to say?
Definitely safe to say, for sure.
You know, you guys had that.
Thanks for having me on, Pep.
You got it. Listen, it's been way too long. I've been wanting to have you guys on. I know you had I think it was 15 in a row, right? I didn't want to jinx the win streak for Summit, but I wanted to have you on the show.
No, definitely, yeah. Thank you. We've definitely played some good baseball the last month and a half.
And you also got career win number 200. You don't look old enough to have 200 career wins, but you did it. What do you think that says about what that number says maybe about your career, maybe some of the teams, the schools that you've been at?
Probably that I've been coaching a little bit too long, man. That's all that means. I keep telling everybody that. But no, seriously, it's just, it's just a process of having a really great coaching staff. I've been able to keep a really good coaching staff at the 3 different high schools I've been at. Had some great players along the way that really buy into what we teach and, try to play the style of baseball that we preach. And, I guess that's how you get to that, man. It's just, it's a milestone, but it's just a longer process in focusing what we need to do on a day-by-day basis.
All right, Coach, you talked about your style of baseball. As we look at a picture, there it is, career victory 200. Nice little banner there to celebrate that. But now you have to turn your attention to the CIF playoffs. You talk about your style of baseball. How would you describe the Skyhawks style of baseball? Score a lot of runs, solid defense and pitching. How would you describe the way you want the team to play baseball?
I think what we've been able to do the last month and a half, like you've mentioned, we went on a little bit of a streak, is just be consistent in what we do. We got some good pitching. We can defend the ball well, and we got some hitting. It's just a matter of having all 3 of those kind of show up on a consistent basis. And when we talk about those 15 wins in a row, and I think it was something like 18 or 19 of our last 20 games, that's what started to happen. We started to get better performance on the mound, whether it was starting pitchers or the bullpen, from our offense and defensively, most important. We find that when our defense and our pitching is there, our offense is going to be able to scratch together some runs to help us get that W.
You know, Coach, baseball is a streaky game. You know, sometimes maybe not the best team is going to make it to the finals. It's the team that's playing the best baseball or the hot team going into the postseason, and they just get on a roll. They get a couple, 3 or 4 wins in a row, and all of a sudden they're playing for a championship. How do you think your team is playing right now? I know you had the big win streak. I think you split with Kaiser in the final week. I think you got them in the final game of the season. But going into the playoffs, how do you feel about your team right now?
Really good. I feel like I said, I think overall in the last month and the last couple of weeks, we've really been getting what we needed from our pitching staff, from our defense, and from our offense. We had a little bit of a down game against Kaiser on Wednesday, in a big game, in a big moment, but we're able to bounce back and play a really good game on Friday and get back to what we do. So always great to end the season against a good competitive team like Kaiser. That kind of sets us up to play, hopefully a good first round game. So just really like the way we finished out the season going into playoffs, and hopefully keeping that, that good energy, that good consistent performance going.
Coach, I don't know if it was by design, but the way your schedule worked out is pretty nice that you played a really good Kaiser team in the final week of the regular season, almost like as a tune-up to kind of get you guys ready for the teams you might see in Division III, including your first-round game against Redlands East Valley. Those final 2 games against Kaiser, what do you think you guys maybe learned about yourselves to kind of get your focus right and get ready for this playoff run, which begins against a tough Wildcat team?
Kaiser's always tough, and there's it's a rivalry game. It's fun rivalry. So it's always dealing with those emotions, playing for a league championship in the last week. So being able to handle that big stage is always a good tune-up going into playoffs. So it's always nice to do that at the last week. Going into playoffs, it doesn't seem as big of a deal to where people get kind of phased by that. So, just like the fact that we're able to play a good competitive game and set us up. The momentum thing is huge, being able to kind of click at the right time there at the end. I've seen teams sneak into the wild card W, and all of a sudden they're in the semifinal, game, and everybody's like, where the heck did these guys come from? So yeah, the momentum thing is big, and I'm hoping we can kind of work that into our first round playoff.
All right, Coach, let's pull the curtain back just a little bit. So the brackets came out on Monday morning, and you played Rev in the first round in D3. What was your message to your team, at practice on Monday, just to kind of, again, get them mentally ready, get them dialed in, get them focused, whatever you want to say? What was kind of the battle cry at practice to go into the playoffs?
Kind of sound like a broken record here, but just the consistency, man. That's we've learned in the last month and a half that if we show up and stay consistent in those things I've mentioned so many times, that we typically are in a good situation where we could win a ball game. If we go out there and defend, pitch to our capabilities and grind out at bats, that we're going to be in a good place towards the end of the ball game. So that's what it was. It's not really worrying so much about our opponent or who it is or who it might be. It's just making sure we focus on what we need to do, and that's really been the battle cry for this last month and a half, where we've been really playing good baseball. Is not so much attention on the opponent. You want to know, you want to have a good idea, but most of our focus has just been on us and making sure that we're taking care of the things we need to take care of.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach Lopez, I don't know if you know this, but your biggest fan is Nick Matheny, the football coach at Summit. He was wearing me out in text messages saying, hey, it only took 200 wins to get him on your show. We love Coach Lopez. So he's a big fan. I know, the baseball team has been good at Summit, and he's got big expectations for you guys.
Oh, definitely. He lets me hear it every single day, man. He's definitely one of the best parts of working at Summit High School, because he's so entertaining, man. Definitely a pleasure to work with.
Well, Coach Lopez, listen, I really appreciate the time. Congrats on number 200. I know that's a big milestone, but I feel like you've got some big goals still to accomplish this postseason. So it begins with Rev later this week in Division III. So again, Coach Lopez, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Thank you.
You got it. That is Coach Sammy Lopez here on the Inland Sports Show, breaking down some CIF Southern Section Division III playoffs.
Inland Sports.